All right. It says I'm live. If you guys can hear me, please let me know. Looks like the mic is not muted. Looks like the stream is working, but I will wait for you guys to give me the heads up and we will get this started. I actually have to build lineups while we do this. I wasn't planning on that, but my crunch did not end up saving. So we have to crunch while we talk here today. So this will be interesting. We'll see how it goes. I think DraftKings Cash is pretty straightforward. It's kind of hard not to land on the same lineup, I think, as everybody else. Obviously, lots of fun plays today. We have mega PD spots. We have some good dominators that are kind of underpriced. So looking like a really fun slate. Definitely looking forward to breaking this one down. I'll let some people roll in. Not sure how many we get. I know the NBA playoffs are on today. I think Game 7, so I'm sure a lot of people are interested in that. But for everybody here, do appreciate you stopping by, talking some Kansas mile and a half track cookie cutter. Nothing too special about it, but hopefully it's a little bit easier to project for DFS purposes. But yeah, I'll wait for you guys to give me that go ahead and we'll get this started. Some questions roll in. And I'm talking about some FanDuel crunches. I gotta do FanDuel crunches right now. My crunch did not save, so I thought I had it perfect, but unfortunately I gotta redo the entire thing, unfortunately. Let's see. What's up, Aaron? Waiting on Chris. Water in hand. You know it. Always got to have the water in hand. Always, always, always. See, Milton says, if Busher and Stenhouse fail, what does the winning lineup start to look like? Is it a couple of punts and more doms, or guys like Jones more likely become optimal? It's going to depend on how everybody else in this slate does. I have a hard time seeing both Stenhouse or Busher failing. I think both end up probably being in the optimal lineup by the end of the day. If they both fail, though, you could see scenarios where guys like Bubba Wallace happen to pop into the optimal. Kurt Busch probably becomes more optimal. It's just going to depend on what dominators happen to dominate. Like if we see a Kyle Larson, Elliott Truex, they end up being in the optimal lineup. You're going to see some of those 5K guys pop a little bit more than likely. But if we have like the mid-range guys with Kyle Busch, Chastain, Logano, it could be more of a balanced build. So it's just going to depend on what the other guys in the slate do. What's up, Paper? Let's get that money today, boys. CP Mafia here to dominate. Let's see. Yeah, let's hopefully do that. I'm looking forward to today's slate. Feel pretty good about it, but obviously you got to hope our guys stay clean. Sucked last week. Larson, Chastain, two fastest cars on the track, and both happened to wreck out. It absolutely sucks. Let's see, James Dixon says, chase that Elliott. I'm not a big fan of Chase Elliott today, but we'll see what happens. He's just a little bit expensive for me. I don't really think he's going to get a front and dominate. Gabe says, give me Chastain or give me Depth. I have a lot of Chastain today. He's one of my favorite drivers to roster. Over on FanDuel, I did have a ton. We're going to see what happens. I'm planning on him being top 3 as far as my ownership goes over on DraftKings. Love him over there. Should have a fast car once again. See no reason why he won't be a potential dominator for this one. Let's see. Chase says, I'm here in the lawn about to head to the race. Oh, yeah, Chase is going to the race today, so hopefully it stays clean. I think the rain's pretty much out as far as it being on the track, so should be good to go for the rest of the day. And he says, let's go Kyle Busch. I agree. I hope Kyle Busch has a great race today. I have a lot of him. One of my favorite plays, if not my favorite play, on today's slate. Got a ton of Kyle Busch. Matthew says, Kyle Busch is going to be so disappointing. Oh, I'm not really sure why that'd be the case, but all the data points do point towards Kyle Busch having a very solid race today. Gabe says, have fun. Chris says, what's up, other Chris? What's up? Last race I get to go watch for a couple weeks. I believe I'm going back to work longer this time, hoping to get out with a win. Yeah, hopefully. It sucks that you have to miss the races, but hopefully it's a good one for you today. For sure. Let's see. Let's see. Gabe says JGR is fast. Yeah, JGR is pretty fast. I mean, they were fast at Las Vegas. I assume they're going to be fast once again. Got a ton of Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Christopher Bell, and Denny Hamlin today. Definitely a large chunk of my exposure. Bowdy says Chastain or Kyle Busch for cash. I would personally go Kyle Busch. I think he's going to be higher owned for cash games. I think there's a better chance he gets up front and dominates. It's very close, though. I'm not going to personally have both, but definitely have a lot of exposure for both. Matthew says, when have we hyped this man up? Several times so far this year. Let's see. Gabe says, Chastain, higher ceiling. I'm not sure if I'd say he's got the higher ceiling. He does have some extra PD spots, but they're both pretty similar plays in my opinion. I'm just loading up on both personally as far as tournaments go. I honestly, Chastain and Busch could easily be the two best dominators for today's slate. Let's see. Jim says, hi Chris, can you play both Bushes in one lineup? You certainly can. I have no problem with that. Both are certainly underpriced this weekend, and both look very fast. Obviously, Kyle Busch was very fast in practice, and Kurt Busch is very fast as well. And I'm definitely getting to a lot of Kurt on both sides today. Just think he's underpriced, had a super fast car in practice, and I really think he can kind of hang around the top 5, top 8 for the majority of the day. And if he can do that at that price point, that's going to be fine as long as he can pick up some fast laps here and there. I do think he's one of the better tournament plays on the entire slate as of right now. Rick says, I'm not fading Kyle Busch. No way, no how. Yeah, I don't know what's with the Kyle Busch slander in here, but I mean, all the data points would suggest to Kyle Busch being one of the better plays today. Obviously, anything can happen in NASCAR, but I mean, he's had a fast car in practice. He's been fast at similar track types this year. He's underpriced at $9,800. Yeah, $9,800 starting in 6. Good spot for him to dominate. I see no reason really not to like Kyle Busch. Eric says, what's up, Chris? What kind of ownership on DraftKings do you think Kurt will see? I might be on the higher end. We've been talking about that in Discord, but I think he's going to come in close to 20% owned today. I definitely think he's getting some hype. People want to play the Jordan car, and people are going to recognize how fast he was in practice, and he definitely is cheaper. The one thing that would draw him back is that he's starting in 5th, and people might be a little bit shy picking him just because he's right beside Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Chris Buescher, which obviously have a ton of place differential upside, so that might keep him a little bit lower than that. But I think Kurt does come in close to 20% today. Maybe a little bit lower than that. I might be high, but I think we at least see 15% as far as his ownership goes in tournaments today. I'm worried about Harvick. Gabe says, no, that's not a good enough explanation. Side bet Austin Dillon does better than... I just think you're trolling at this point. I might just not even answer. Okay, Twin Ball says, how high owned do you think Hamlin will be? I think Hamlin ends up getting into the 20s. As of right now, I currently have him at... Yeah, I have him in the low 20s as far as ownership. He is going to the rear, so that might draw him back a little bit, which I believe is why I have him a little bit lower. If he wasn't going to the rear, I think we see mid to upper 20s. Right now in the low 20s, I don't think it's a big deal that he's going to the rear, but there's a lot of other good plays as well. So it's not like a lot of people are just going to completely get on Hamlin, especially with the bad luck that he's had finish-wise so far this year. Rexy says, are we all in on Christopher Bell today? I'm not all in, but I definitely like him a lot. He's one of my highest owned drivers on the slate. Definitely going to be high owned as far as just cash games or tournaments today, but it's hard to ignore the speed, and at his price point, it's tough not to like him at $8,400. Like, he doesn't have to lead half the race to be optimal. If he can lead a good chunk of stage 1 and just stay within the top 5 all day, picking up fast laps, that'll be good enough for Christopher Bell to get optimal more than likely. So I definitely like him quite a bit. Currently, I have him projected to go 7x value for his price tag. So yeah, I'm definitely pretty heavy on Christopher Bell. But I've been waiting on a competition caution announcement from Bob. I have not yet seen one. I'm going to check his Twitter really quick and see if he posted anything, because he said it was TBT, I want to say about 30 minutes to an hour ago. Okay, so 11 minutes ago, Bob did tweet, competition caution still to be determined, track drawing progressing, and hopeful for on-time start. So I imagine there's going to be one, especially, you know, since I have to drive the track. We'll have to wait and see. That could hurt Bell a little bit, but it's nothing not going to swing me too much. See the lovely girlfriend Juliana's here. Good morning. Speaking of cookies, I think I might make some. Hopefully you will try one this time. I'm not a big cookie person, but I might have to try a little bit. But glad you're here. Appreciate you watching. Looks like Bell and Larson have the best pit selection, and Stenhouse and Eric Jones have the worst. Do you pay attention to this? I mean, to a degree for sure, but it's not going to be the end-all be-all. Rich says, who do you like on PrizePicks? So the guys I like, they did happen to move quite a bit. Let me pull up this site. I know Kurt Busch has went from 29.5 to 33.5 last time I looked. He's still sitting at 33.5. I'm not sure I love the 33.5. It's definitely gotten a lot more steep. Kyle Busch is now at 52.5. I got him at 50.5 earlier. And then Chastain is now at 47.5 compared to 45. So all the guys I like went up. So you're not getting as much value. Outside of that, I mean, it's kind of stiff today over on PrizePicks. Truex at 39.5 seems a little low. If you want to take a bet on that, and if you think Kister Bell can dominate a good chunk of this race, he's only at 48.5. But the ones I like kind of lost value. If you want a freebie, Luka Doncic is at 0.5 point. He's kind of like the freebie. You can get that for the next 6 hours, but if you're pairing that with any NASCAR bets, obviously need that within about the hour. So kind of lost the luster since the points went up quite a bit. What's up, Philip? Josh says DK Cash, Busher. It's a lot of bushes. Chastain, Logano, and Stenhouse. Thank you. It's pretty close to what I have. I personally am not viewing Kurt Busch as a cash game play today, but I do have 4 of those drivers in mind. So we're only 2 off, and I'll tell you right now, it's just Chastain and Kurt Busch. Those are the only differences as of right now. But overall, it's a very solid lineup. What's up, Andre? Doug says, Kurt gonna ruin my day and crash me again. Let's go. I know it sucked last week, but I'm going right back to the well. He's a pretty similar play, but I like it. I don't mind going back to him. Hopefully he doesn't end our day, though. Oh, I can tell you right now, it's not fun crunching 150 lineups during a live stream. I really wish it's saved. But I will tell you right now, as far as my crunching goes on FanDuel, you guys are playing over there. Highest owned drivers I'm getting to right now, Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch, and then Reddick and Bell. As of right now, I'm still playing around with it, but I can't imagine that's going to change much. Chase says rain is done for sure. Good. Plenty of time to get the race in, plus we got lights, so it's not like it matters anyway. Philip says, can we fade Logano? You can. I'm not sure it's the smartest thing to do, but you can certainly fade him. Over on DraftKings, I mean, you can make a better case to fade him because you have Chastain right there, you have Kyle Busch, you have Reddick and Bell, all guys with very high ceilings that they can get in front and dominate. Even if Joey Logano does get a top 10, like let's just say, for example, Logano got a top 10, he'd be sitting at 58 fantasy points. And that's with 0 fast laps or laps led points. If you mixed in a few fast laps, that's probably getting closer to 60. But at the same time, if we have a guy like, Kyle Busch, Chastain get up front, they could easily outscore 60 points, get those dominator points. So thing is, though, Logano's not that expensive at $9,600, so even they don't even have to have him dominate. And it's pretty easy to fit in multiple dominators in addition to Joey Logano. So I don't really want to fade him personally. Mundo's World says, is it a stack the back strategy today? In a way it is. It's not like a stack the back track normally, but we do have several good drivers starting in the back that have top 15 potential, like Chris Buescher, Ricky Stenhouse, and top 10 potential with Joey Logano. So it's kind of like a mini stack the back kind of slate. So, but I'm not going to go out of my way just to, like, you still need dominators in your lineup. This is not Talladega where you're just rostering drivers starting 30 on back. But we do have several good drivers in the back, making it kind of feel like a stack the back race in a way. Clint says, sorry I'm late. What's up, everyone? Thanks for the content, C-Pen. Let's go Harvick. No problem at all, Clint. Glad you're here. Glad you can make it. And let's go Harvick. Yeah, I mean, slow in practice. Didn't get a ton of practice out of him, though. But starting in 23rd, $8,700. He's a solid play. Yeah, I would say he's a great play, but he's solid. I have not quite a quarter of my lineups with Kevin Harvick, but it's above 20% right now. Anthony says, can you give me your top 3 picks? Sorry, I just got here. Hashtag Fort Town. What's up, Anthony? My fellow Fort Myerson? I don't even know what you'd call us. But I know we're from the same place. And your top 3 picks, as of right now, as far as my exposures go, I have the most of, on DraftKings, I have the most of Buescher, Stenhouse, and Bell. And then some other guys are really close, like Kyle Busch and Chastain, but those are my top 3 as of right now. Chase says, we are clear for sure. Jadon and Chase going to have a blast. We got Kyle Busch and Ross doing great. Denny doing bad. If so, win the Dollar Riskies. Hopefully I just have some Denny Hamlin. I don't want him to do too bad, but I definitely have a lot of the other two, and I'm definitely on board with you there. Wes says, did you talk about Hamlin going to the back? Doesn't matter. Hamlin said in his interview yesterday that he was going to go to the rear anyway, or I believe it was Hamlin that said it. Someone did. But he was going to the rear yesterday, so it didn't really change anything for me today because it was prepared for. Does it maybe hurt his upside a little bit? Sure, but I don't think it matters too much because if you were rostering Denny Hamlin starting in 18th, you were never expecting him to lead early anyway. You were expecting him to be more of a stage 2, maybe even a stage 3 guy, so I don't think it's a big deal. And it's going to lower his ownership a little bit, so I think it just makes it a bit of a better play, really. What's up, FE? Morning CP from stormy Kansas. Is it storming there? How close are you to the track? I can't remember how close you said you were, but the sun's out though, so that's some good news. We'll take it. Milton says, lower owned Hamlin or Truex, which you prefer as lower owned Dominator? I believe I have Hamlin just a little bit lower owned as far as ownership projections go, and I would prefer Truex as far as a Dominator. I think it's more likely he gets up front and dominates. They're pretty similar plays though. I have them very close in my ownership. So my mom's here. Hi, bud. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy race day. As usual, let's go Logano. Yeah, you got your Logano win last week. It was a nice, the narrative for Mother's Day. It was perfect. But it looks like he's another good play once again this weekend, so we could see in the optimal 2 weeks in a row. It'd be quite possible. Let's see. Eric says, easy to leave up to 1,000 on the table today and still have a great lineup without even going to the scrubs. Strong 6 to 9K price range today. Yeah, I totally agree. So if I build 20 lineups here, I just want to see what the average salary remaining is, as I usually do. Yeah, 49,500, but that's gonna, without any settings, I understand why it's getting close to the full salary used. But out of 20 top lineups as far as projections go, one that left over $2,000 on the table was there. So I see one with, yeah, 47,700, and that's got Buescher, Bell, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Stenhouse, and Reddick, and that's a good lineup. Like, it follows all the rules. That looks good. You have one with 1,400 on the table with Dillon, Buescher, Bell, Busch, Stenhouse, and Reddick. So, yeah, don't be afraid to leave money on the table today. I know over on FanDuel, you can make a good lineup with a decent amount of money on the table. So, definitely a decent week for that if you want to go that route. Chris says, anyone to the back? The driver starting in the rear, and then Denny Hamlin as of right now, but doesn't really change anything for me. Ty Gibbs Future Goat says, since everyone is on Kyle Busch and Ross, I might go Bowman. Bowman is cheap. I'm not a big fan of Bowman this week, but he is cheap. It's hard to argue that. How about Haley? Haley's starting really close to the front for me to have a ton of interest starting in 15th. Everybody below, like Bubba Wallace, is just such a hard play to get to. People are going to play Gillen just because he's starting in 31st, but it doesn't feel very good this weekend. That's why I think a lot of people are going to be pretty balanced, because they don't want to go below Stenhouse and Buescher, really. SS Jackson says, Denny Hamlin or Kyle Busch today for cash? I would go Kyle Busch. He's going to be higher owned and doesn't have to go to the rear, and I'd say there's a much better chance he could get up front and dominate over Denny Hamlin. Nick says, thoughts on cash build this week? Kyle Busch plus Ross. How far down would you go? So I don't have Ross Chastain in cash. I mean, I think he's an amazing play, but I just don't think you have to go that route, because if you just talk through roster construction here for cash, you have to play 3 guys. That's Stenhouse, Buescher, and Logano. You got to play those 3 in cash games. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think you got to play Bell on the pull as fast as he was. That's 4. And then you're left with 2 guys. For me, I want Kyle Busch as my main dominator in cash games. You could play Chastain. That's fine. They're kind of interchangeable. And then once you do that, you're left in the 8K range with guys like Austin Dillon or Kevin Harvick. If you win Chastain, I don't think you can fit in Reddick, but that's kind of like the way I'm going to go this weekend as far as cash games. Eric says, Buescher, Logano, Stenhouse, Hamlin to the rear, but we're already starting far. Oh, yeah. Pretty much said what I said there. None of that even matters to me. It does not matter who's going to the rear today for me, unless we happen to get a random Christopher Bell or Tyler Reddick to the rear. That's really the only thing that would change anything for me. And I'm firing up Bob's Twitter again just to make sure I'm not missing anything, because I like to know if we're going to get a competition caution and what lap that would be. But he did say we are expecting an on-time start, so I guess that is good news. But I'll be waiting on Bob for that competition caution update, hopefully soon. How concerned am I with Harvick's speed? I mean, I don't like that he was slow, but we also only got a 1-lap run out of him for practice, so it's like, I hate to put too much into it. Like, he was 30th in 1 lap, yes, qualified poorly, but it's still Kevin Harvick. He's been really consistent this year. I'm not expecting him to dominate or anything, but I do think he should be a top 12, top 10 contender. Jared says, are we fading Harvick today? I'm not really fading Harvick. I have over 20% as of right now. He's not my favorite play in the world, but he's just kind of there. Like, I got to play him a little bit starting at 23rd. Austin Dillon's certainly a pretty solid pivot off of Kevin Harvick, though. Very similar play and unloaded faster. I mean, he was 6th in the 1 lap, and obviously Reddick was very fast as well. Jim says, how do you feel about Harvick, Austin, Dillon, and Bell? I mean, I have all 3 of those guys in a good chunk of my lineups. I love Christopher Bell, obviously. I like Austin Dillon a lot in tournaments on both sides. And then Kevin Harvick, I just explained that one, so. Avery says, would you play Bell and Reddick in the same lineup? Yeah, I have them in the same lineup in quite a bit, actually. People don't like playing the guys starting 1-2, but obviously have very fast cars, and with how cheap they are, it makes it even more viable. Like, when you have 2 drivers that are like around $11,000 starting 1-2, it's definitely a bit harder to get to that. But when we're talking 2 guys below 9K, it definitely makes it a lot more feasible. Fire some questions away. I'm going to try to get my crunch set up. I'm not getting enough Joey Logano right now. Oh, here, let's see. Effie says, where the heck are the wrenchmen? Andy, Spread, Dude? I know, they're all fired. They're all gone right now. I know, I'm going to have to give them a hard time. I'll skip and work. Might have to promote somebody. But, yeah, I feel like I'm too low on Larson. I know none of the numbers really suggest to play him too much. He was solid in practice, and I know he's obviously fantastic last year at the 1.5s and obviously at Kansas as well, but I'm having a hard time getting to a lot of Larson. I mean, the most expensive driver on both sites, and it's just, point per dollar wise, he's not going to grade out nearly as well as, the mid-range drivers or the 9K guys that can potentially dominate. So a little bit tough this week to get to a lot of Larson. Man, it just doesn't feel good not having much. I'm sure you all feel the same way. Brandon says, are there any drivers you took out of your pool for GPPs on DraftKings? I just X'd out the bottom tier drivers. I didn't have any Ware, McLeod, Bilicki, Yaley. I barely have any of Austin Cindric. And I barely have any of... I think it was just Austin. I'm pretty spread out outside of a few drivers. Let me see who I have like barely any of. Okay, I barely have LaJoy. I have like 1% Cindric, 2% Gregson. Not a lot of those guys down low. Andre says, too hard to get him NASCAR PrizePicks the day of the race. Yeah, those numbers change quite a bit. You do lose quite a bit of value. You got to get on there as soon as they drop on Saturday evenings, or you're going to lose quite a bit of value for sure. See, Austin says, oat cookies, yum. You don't like oat cookies? I don't really like cookies at all, but I don't mind oat cookies. That's for sure. I love oatmeal. Jets999 says, isn't Bell the same trap like in Vegas? Priced at $8,400 again. Started first, left 32 laps, finished 10th, and only got 37.9 points. He was fast in practice in Vegas. Why is he more intriguing now? Well, I've been a big fan of JGR heading into the weekend, and I was going to play Bell either way. So now that he's on the pole and was blazing fast in practice, I realize there's some similarities from Vegas, but I'm going to definitely have a lot of bit of Bell today. I understand there's some similarities as far as maybe him being a trap play, but I just don't personally see it. Now, I would be interested in seeing where we get the competition caution. That could certainly sway things a bit, because he could get shuffled out. But I was a big believer in JGR heading into the weekend, so just because he's on the pole, it isn't really going to change anything for me. DFS says, any takes on Blaney or Bowman today? Yeah, I would rather get the Blaney, I think, just because of the speed he's shown this year, and obviously he's always been strong at intermediates, and the price tag's really nice. Bowman's there as well. He was 4th in the 5-lap. Blaney was 14th in the 5-lap. I really don't like either that much. I'm getting to more Blaney. I have around, I think, 16% Blaney. Let me check. So 18% Blaney compared to like 8% Bowman right now. I'm not sure if that's because I have a Blaney bias, but he is projecting a little bit better for me. But I am not huge on either because I have a lot of Logano, Chastain, and Busch, and then I have a lot of Reddick and Christopher Bell right below him, so they're just getting shuffled out a bit. Maybe that's not for a good reason, but it's just the way my exposures are rolling out. I forget how much exposure I had at Christopher Bell in Vegas because I'm pretty sure I ended up being underweight there. I don't remember what the rest of the order looked like though, so I'm not sure why. Just trying to remember. Brandon says, did you see Underdog now has racing for over-unders? They do over-under for finishing positions. Seems like a big edge for betting overs. No, I had no idea about that. I don't even know if Underdog is legal here. Let me see if I can get on the website. I've seen people play it, but I never really had a ton of interest in it. I guess I should just look. Is Underdog Fantasy legal in Florida? It's legal in 41 states, so I'd say that, yeah, it's legal in Florida. So I guess I can look at it next week. It's too late for me now. Got 30 minutes to lock, and I still got to crunch my 150, but next week I will look into it, so I do appreciate the heads up for that. What's up, Jay Smokes? Kurt Busch is definitely my sleeper. Played him last week and it burned me. Yep, gotta go right back to it, I think, this weekend. Good luck, and I think Truex wins it, him or Reddick. I would be fine with either of those two winning. I have a good chunk of both. But I definitely have a lot more Reddick, so I'd be pretty ecstatic if Reddick won today. And he says, do I like Buescher? Yes, I like Buescher. Buescher right now is my highest owned driver on DraftKings. If he doesn't wreck, I'd say there's a really strong chance he is optimal. Rebecca says, how do you like Bowman as a tournament play? He'll be low owned and his price is low. I'm just not huge on the Hendrick cars today. I prefer Blaney down low, but I'm just not getting to a lot of Bowman or Blaney. It's probably because I'm so heavy on Logano, Chastain, and Kyle Busch. But like, I think they run well, but I just don't really see them getting up front and dominating. Single entry GPP on DraftKings, big dollar. Bowman or Harvick with Bell and Reddick. I'll take the PD there with Harvick if you have Bell and Reddick, just to get more balance there. I'm not even reading that, C. Austin. I'm not trying to start wars here, but I'm gonna have to fire the wrenches, I think. Austin, Dillon, Eric Jones, or Harvick. For me, just ranking them, it's Harvick, Austin, Dillon, Eric Jones as far as the projections go, but I have a good chunk of all three of them. I think they're all good plays. Sean says, who are the most over and undervalued on DraftKings? Overvalued, I'd probably say is Larson and Elliott. And then undervalued, I'd probably say Kurt Busch. And then Stenhouse and Buescher. I mean, these are just some of the best values. Rob says, Harvick, Jones, or Austin Dillon for cash? I would go with Harvick. I feel like we have the same lineup, Rob. If you're asking that question, I feel like we have the same build there. But I went Harvick. I think he'll be highest owned. I mean, it's really close between him or Austin and Dillon. I think Austin Dillon might end up having more speed, but I feel a little bit more comfortable with Harvick. DFS says, also from Kansas City here, the sun is out and the rain has stopped. That's great news. That's what I want to hear. I love to go racing on time. Let me check Bob and see if he said anything. How do we not have competition caution news yet? Maybe someone else tweeted it, although I'm not sure anyone else is really up to date with NASCAR news besides Bob. Maybe if I search competition caution on Twitter. Nope, just people asking Bob for the... Nope, someone tweeted me, do we know if there's a competition caution yet? So if you're watching the Sport Kicker, I do not know yet. Okay. Jim says, how do you feel about Harvick, Austin, Dillon, and Bell? Like all three a lot. Good chunk of all three, so no problem at all. Bell, one of the best dominator plays on the slate, $84. Hard not to get there. SS says, rank these three for cash. Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon, Eric Jones. I think everyone's got the same lineup for cash. I think that's like the third time I've gotten a similar question to that. For me, it's Kevin Harvick. It's exactly how you had it ordered. It's Harvick, Austin Dillon, Eric Jones for me. Andre says, tons of money left in my FanDuel lineups. Yeah, I'm looking at some crunches right now. 49,000, 47.5, 47, 46.2, 48. Yeah, it's definitely a good week to leave some money on the table on FanDuel, that's for sure. I think my highest projected lineup left like 1,800 on the table. Randy says, with the tire problems you saw last week and yesterday in practice, do you see a lot of attrition happening again this week? I hope not. I mean, it's hard to know because, I mean, the tires just seem to suck every single week. So I'm sure at some point we're going to see some tires pop and blow for probably my highest loan drivers just to mentally prepare myself for that. But I'm not expecting a wreck fest. It's certainly possible, though, with what we've seen. But hopefully we got some of the rust out from practice yesterday. So like I said, I am building 150 lineups right now, so I'm trying to do both here at the same time. As of right now, my three highest on FanDuel: Logano, Kyle Busch, Chastain, and then I have Reddick and Bell right there. But my Kurt Busch is too low, so I will have to up that a little bit. Probably not as good of a play over on FanDuel, but I still want a decent chunk. And I probably don't have enough Hamlin. We'll see, though. Kay says, single entry on FanDuel, Logano, Kyle Busch, Reddick, Bell, Harvick. Should I swap out one for Chastain or leave it as is? How much money is that leaving on the table, Kay? If you can just get Chastain over a guy like Harvick straight up, I would feel good about that. But I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not sure how much money you have left on the table. But I would tell you right now, if you can just clean swap Chastain for a Harvick, I would probably do that. Milton says, cash 2v2, Rowdy and Ross, or Hammy and Bell. Bell scares me. See him leading 20 laps and fading to 7th in most day. Man, I really want Bell and Rowdy for cash. So it's a really tough question there. I would guess I'd go Rowdy and Ross, though. Yeah, Rowdy and Ross. I want Bell, but I think the first option looks better to me. Many says, going straight paint jobs, Busch, Busher, Byron, Suarez, and Harvick. I mean, that's a strategy, that's for sure. Kurt Busch. His paint scheme looks so good this weekend. I've been using it in my analysis. I know it has nothing to do with how he's going to race today, but I just have a hard time seeing a car look that good not do well today. It looks so nice. It really does. I'm sure Michael Jordan paid to have some extra sauce in that car this weekend. Get that running up front. Okay, so the FanDuel crunch is not looking too bad. We have 50% Chastain, 61% Logano, 48% Kyle Busch, 44% Bell, 42% Reddick. It doesn't look too bad. I feel like 23% Hamlin might be a little bit low. I also have a lot of William Byron, which I don't really want. If I tone down my William Byron, I could probably get this to right about where I want. Okay. Michael says, K. Busch doesn't help me much. I'm not sure if it's Kurt or Kyle. Chastain, Bowman, McDowell, Reddick, Stenhouse for tournaments. Well, again, I'm going to guess if it's Kyle, I love it. If it's Kurt, it's solid. I'm going to assume it's... If you have Chastain and Bowman and Reddick, I'm going to assume it's Kurt. It's still a good lineup, though. I don't mind that. Galvin says, what's up, CP? Let's get this today. Thank you. You're welcome, Galvin. Appreciate you stopping by. Should be a fun one. Definitely looking forward to it today. Twin Ball says, how owned do you think Keselowski will be in tournaments? I currently have him at close to 20% owned. Close to 20%. It feels a bit high when I said it, but people do like... I mean, if you see a 3 beside a driver that's not a scrub, it's definitely always appealing to people. Yep, definitely would not mind at all. Milton says, Jones versus Harvick, which lower owned and which you prefer? Pull up the projections. I know they're close. So I have Harvick at 44. I have Jones at 35. I mean, I'd have to go Harvick straight up. It's a pretty big discrepancy there. For as far as who's going to be lower owned, Eric Jones will be lower owned, but I'd prefer Harvick straight up. Albert says, I got Chastain, Kyle Busch, Logano, Reddick, Buescher, and Gilly in cash. Also dig this lineup for a GPP. What do you think? I think it's solid. I mean, it's not exactly what I have in cash, but I would never say you have to play exactly what I have. So I think it's a pretty solid lineup overall. I just worry about the scrubs. But I think you're missing, you don't have Stenhouse in cash, which is kind of scary because he's going to be really high owned, and I think you had to play Stenhouse in cash, but if something happens to him, you'll be sitting pretty, but I don't think it's something I want to fade in cash games today. Jason says, Kurt Busch, Austin Dillon, Recchi Stenhouse, Eric Jones, Logano, and Watermelon. I think that's a solid lineup. You have Ross Chastain as your Dom. Yeah, if you're playing Kurt Busch as the Dom, I get it. Logano, PD, Eric Jones, PD, Stenhouse. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad lineup. FE says, 9 spots left in the CP DraftKings contest. Oh, yeah. If you guys haven't joined that yet, usually have my wrenches tell me. But if you want to join the DraftKings contest, there's a link somewhere. You can go to my Twitter, at ChrisPennell16. Should be like the second to latest tweet. Just click the link there. You can join the contest. It's a league. It'll auto-invite you each and every single week. All right, I almost want to fire away this crunch, but I don't think 17% Denny Hamlin's enough. I'll have to bump him up a little bit. All right, so I dropped my Joey Logano exposure a little bit, but I feel pretty good about it. I might have a bit too much Eric Jones and... We'll see. We got 20 minutes. Don't let me forget to upload my CSV. That'd be a disaster. FanDuel locks at 3:30. I think DraftKings was a little bit later than that. Don says Kyle Busch or Truex for a tournament play. So Truex is going to be lower owned, but I'm going to take Kyle Busch straight up. I like him a lot today. See, Austin says you're going to have to wrench me up if these boys can't make it to work. I know. I might have to. Chris says cash head-to-head, Kyle Busch, Chastain, Logano, Stenhouse, Buescher, and who would your last guy be in with $7,400 left? If I had $7,400 left in cash, I would play... I guess I'd play Keselowski. I have Kurt Busch projected slightly higher than that, but I'd have to play. I guess I'd go Brad, but I don't want to play Brad. FE says 250 watching, 56 likes. Come on, folks, hit the like button. Yeah, if you haven't hit the like button already, helps me out. Do appreciate it. Hopefully we can get 100. Jake says Denny Hamlin is going to victory lane. Yeah, he could. I mean, he's had a fast car. He just gets really unlucky in wrecks. I wouldn't be opposed to Denny Hamlin winning today. Andre says smash that thumbs up like button. For sure, goes a long way. Frank says Larson and Keselowski or Byron and Austin Dillon, please and thank you. Oh. Man, Larson's tough this weekend. Like, you want to play him, but at the same time, you don't want to play him. Projection-wise, I feel like it's going to be Byron and Austin Dillon there. It's like a slight edge to them. Cody says, I'm taking Austin Dillon and Bubba Wallace over Stenhouse and Buescher. It's fair. I think they're the two best pivots there. I like Austin Dillon today. Definitely going to go overlooked for where he's starting. And then Bubba Wallace. I mean, if you like the Toyotas today, if you like JGR, you like Kurt Busch, don't forget about Bubba. I don't think he's a bad pivot off of those guys. Yeah, we finally got a wrenchman. What's up, dude? Nice you could make. Glad you could make it. Better late than never. Mongo says Bell feels like a trap with very, very little practice data. It could be. I mean, I don't think he's a trap. Thing is, it's like, for me personally, I was liking Bell heading into the weekend, so it's not like it's like me getting now on Bell. I was already on Bell, and then he showed me a lot of speed and he qualified on the pole. So it's like, well, yeah, now he's not going to be a chalk fest, but I liked him heading into the weekend. I'm gonna keep it that way. I'm checking Bob's Twitter again. I'm not sure we gotten anything yet. How do we not know? The race is like in 20 minutes. Oh, okay, we got something. There is no competition caution today, which I do think is a boost for Bell. 1 minute ago, Bob tweeted, surprising decision, no competition caution today. So I would say that's definitely a bit of a bump for Bell. I was planning on there being one, so it certainly helps things out. Okay, let's see. Minnie says 15 degrees cooler weather should halo tires. Yeah, it's definitely completely different conditions as yesterday. Definitely a lot cooler. And obviously, we had rain on the track as well. Dude dropping the general info. 312 is green flag. Stages 80, 85, 102. 9 sets of tires. Fuel 60 to 64 laps. And no competition caution. And to the rear, we have Hamlin, Logano, Buescher, and Stenhouse. Easy says Kyle Busch over Larson, Chastain over Bowman, Austin Dillon over Suarez. What's up, Easy? And I'm assuming those are your head-to-heads for the sportsbook today. I like all three of those quite a bit. I wonder what the odds are for the Chastain and Bowman one, but I like that quite a bit. But I think those look good. Sean says, should be interesting if Logano and Byron get close together today. Could ruin some lineups. That is for sure. That's something I guess you got to keep in mind. You can't quantify it, you can't project it, but it's in the back of your head, you know, when you're building lineups. That is for sure. So we have 15 minutes to lock. I have not uploaded a CSV yet. I should probably get on that a little bit. And it looks good what I have right now. The problem is I have like no Hendrick, which is terrifying. I mean, I have a lot of JGR. A lot of Ross, a lot of Raddick. Might up my randomness a little bit. If you're not liking everything you get, all you gotta do is up the randomness. Sometimes it helps. FE says someone's got to do. For sure. Appreciate it, Rick. What's up, King? Michael says it was Kyle Busch. Oh, even better. I'm surprised Kyle Busch even fit in that lineup. I think that's really good. Dude says Gillen to the rear. He was already there anyway. Race expected to start on time, which is fantastic news for us. Slim Brody says Kyle Busch or Chastain for DraftKings cash. I would personally go Kyle Busch. Ricky says that I missed something. I see everyone fading Kyle Larson on Twitter. This track was made for him. I mean, if you're going off of this year's data, I mean, I understand it. He's definitely not been the best car this year. I know he did well at Las Vegas and he won an auto club, but he did not have the best car. I gotta nuke some of this Aaron Jones exposure. He's kind of getting out of hand here. I really hope I can get a crunch soon. It's terrifying me. It sucks. I had my crunch perfect and then it just deleted. De Palma says Doncic over and Suarez under. PrizePicks free money. I forget what Suarez is, but I don't think I hate the under, whatever it was. I remember eyeballing it. Mongo says, why isn't Logano a lock? I mean, I wouldn't say anyone's ever a lock in NASCAR, but he's one of my favorite plays today. I certainly like him. But if he finishes around 15th place, I mean, he's not going to be optimal today, especially if we have a main two-dom race. Yeah, I probably have a little bit too much Reddick on FanDuel. I should probably cut that a little bit. I don't recommend building lineups during a live stream. It's not the easiest thing in the world. Yes says, I'd become a wrench, but I don't know if that ruins my weatherman status. We'd have to talk about it. It certainly could be conflicting. Maverick says, no competition caution. Yeah, I'm happy about that. I'm pretty happy about that. Ty Gibbs says, I think mostly everyone will have a similar lineup, so I'm going different directions. Never a bad thing to do that. Never a bad thing. Okay, Boldy says no competition caution. Sicko says, JGR scares me every week because they will rank low 20s or 30s in practice and then qualify top 10. Fortunately, that's not the case this week. They were fast, so don't have to worry about that at least. Most of them qualified well, and most of them were fast in practice too. Byron or Hamlin last man in? I'll go with Hamlin there. Jim says, Chris, I have three of my best lines. One is Larson, Reddick, Harvick, Jones, Stenhouse, Buescher. 2 is Hamlin, Logano, Bell, Austin, Dillon, Kurt Busch, Buescher. And 3 is Byron, Kurt Busch, Chastain, Kyle Busch, Stenhouse, Buescher. Thoughts? I don't think it's bad. It follows all the rules I would follow. As long as you like those drivers, I think it's pretty solid. Spiritual says Hamlin. Ty Gibbs says, I'm going Byron, Bowman to counter the Kyle Busch and Ross, but I might go Blaney. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, obviously, I really like Kyle Busch and Ross Chastain. They're going to be high owned, but I understand wanting to get away a little bit. All right. We got 10 minutes to lock. If you have any questions, just drop them in there. I am finalizing a crunch here. Running out of time, but I should be good. There's just so many good plays today. It's almost hard to build. It's like one of those slates. Oh man, it's a lot more tricks than I thought I was gonna get. Let's see if I can. Let's see. CS says, who was this the year of? 2021 Kyle Larson, 2020 Hamlin Harvick. Right now, it's kind of all over the place. I mean, you can make a case for it being the year of Chastain, as good as he's been this year. But it's kind of wide open right now. I mean, it can go either way for sure. No problem, Jim. Hope you have the best of luck today. Mitchell says, Jones or Buescher for last spot in DK Cash. If it's DK Cash, I think you have to play Buescher. David says, see you at the top. We'll share first Stenhouse, Logano, Harvick, Buescher, Kyle, and Bell. Yep, that is the probably chalkiest lineup you can make today. I think it's about as chalky as it gets. Aaron says, Suarez's first win today. I don't know if I can say he's going to get his first one today, but probably not. But is anything possible? Sure. But I don't see it happening. Really running out of time on my crunch. I'm close. Just need a couple more spots. Gotta finagle with. Mine just got the perfect one though. I might just have to send this one in. So I got 60. Again, this is FanDuel. Joey 60%, Chastain 56, Kyle Busch 48, Bell 46, Reddick 44, Hamlin 34, Truex 28. That's not bad. Then it's pretty spread out after that. Might just have to send that one in. Let's see. Blake says Elliott. Not big on Elliott today. I just don't see him dominating, and at that price point, he's gonna have to dominate. Like, yeah, if he runs top 5, that's fine. But at nearly $11,000, we're gonna need him to get up front. I just don't really see it happening today. Mitchell says Logano or Bell DK Cash. If I had to pick between the two, I guess it's Logano, but it's a bit of a price difference there. Rebecca says, how do you feel about Kyle Busch, Kurt, and Reddick all being dominators in one lineup in a tournament play? That's fine. I'm sure I have all three in the same lineup, so I don't have a problem with it. I mean, Reddick's cheap, and Kurt Busch is cheap, and Kyle Busch is underpriced, so it's not that hard to fit them in. I don't have a problem with that. All right. I think I'm rolling with this. We'll see what happens. 7 minutes to lock. I should really just upload something. But I'll probably get out of here pretty soon, so if you have any last minute dire questions, please let me know. I will try to answer them. Let them roll in. Just want a little bit more Truex. $45% is a little bit much, though. Let's knock that down to like 33. Let's see. Larry says Hamlin moving too. Yep, he's going to the rear. Bruce says both Busch Bros, Dylan Stenhouse, Hamlin, and Brad Keselowski. I don't think that's necessarily a bad lineup. It does follow the rules I would follow, so got no problem with that. Sicko says Christopher Bell, Buescher, Kyle Busch, Harvick, Logano, Stenhouse, single entry GPP. What do you think? Should I swap anyone? So you got Bell and Busch as your dominators. You have Buescher, Harvick, Stenhouse, and Logano as place differential. Solid lineup overall. No problem with that. I think it looks pretty good. All right, let me upload this crunch quick. And just saying, if Chastain, Reddick, Bell, and Busch don't do well today, it's not gonna be a good day. All right, hopefully no errors when uploading, and we are set. Okay, Busch or Chastain, slightly in for Busch for me. He's my highest predicted driver on the slate. No problem at all with Chastain though. Problem with two. As far as dominators go, probably my two favorite plays, but I'll go with Busch. What's up, Pugsley? What's up, everyone? My DK tourney lineup is Kyle Busch, Kurt, Ross, Joey, Todd, and Reddick. I like it quite a bit. I mean, Gillen, obviously, could be the one guy that hurts you there, but if he just doesn't wreck and he finishes top 25, I think the rest of that lineup looks pretty good. So I got no problem with that. Larry says, Hamlin moving to the back, change anything? Nope. We knew he was going to the back yesterday, so projected it as so, and nothing really changed for me. I still think he's a solid play. Is he my favorite play? No, but I think he's solid and should have a fast car. But if there's no more questions, I will probably get out of here. If you have one, let me know, but I'm probably gonna get off if that's about it to catch up to the chat. Normally don't do that, so. Jim says, one more question, Larson or Truex? I have more Truex than Larson today. Just got a little more Truex. Appreciate the dono spread, what it is. What's up? Just made it. Just about got off, but I'm glad you could make it. And I do appreciate the dono. Good luck, Rick. Off to Discord. Yep. See you there. If you want to join the Discord, here to find it. Link can be found down below. But I think with that, I'll get out of here. Do appreciate everyone stopping by, and I wish you all the best of luck today.